shirts for quality and style that you can count on. From Florida Field in Gainesville, Florida, the USA Cable Network presents college football. Today, the Gators of Florida meet the Tigers of LSU. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Randy Scott along with Richard Trapp at Florida Field in Gainesville. This afternoon, the unbeaten fourth-ranked Florida Gators tackle the undefeated but unranked LSU Bengal Tigers, a renewal of an outstanding Southeastern Conference rivalry. Both teams come in undefeated for several reasons, but not the least of which is that they both have outstanding passing quarterbacks. And Richard, as a former receiver, I know that you especially can appreciate the talents of people like Wayne Peace and Alan Risher.
I sure can, Randy. They're both excellent quarterbacks. Wayne Peace is off to a fantastic start. He's hitting 75% of his passes. Alan Risher today could beat Burt Jones's record as the outstanding passer and most completions in LSU history. So we've got two outstanding quarterbacks, and I think we'll see the ball thrown in the air quite a bit today.
Well, the Bengal Tigers are coming in here with upset on their mind. The Florida Gators will be striving to maintain their unblemished record and hold on to that #4 Associated Press ranking. The kickoff just minutes away at Florida Field in Gainesville. See for the Gators. Outstanding young tailbacks who excelled in the Florida Gators win over Mississippi State last week. And they have made a change in the person who will kick off for the Bengal Tigers. It's Juan Carlos Betanzos. He's a sophomore from Mexico City. Betanzos kick settling down at the 2-yard line. This is John L. Williams, the exciting freshman. He gets a little daylight, gets up over the 25-yard line. A good return by John L. Williams, and the Florida Gators will put it in play. Mitch Andrews coming up to make the stop for the special teams unit for the Bengal Tigers. But Florida with good field position as they begin their first drive this afternoon from their own 25-yard line.
Well, Randy, I'd like to see how Florida starts out. See if they're going to start it out on the ground or see if they can pass against LSU.
Wayne Peace is the quarterback. The wideouts are Spencer Jackson and Dwayne Dixon. Dotting the I, fullback James Jones. Lorenzo Hampton will start at tailback this afternoon. Peace tosses back to Hampton. He cuts around the left side. He's out across the 30. Cuts in again over the 40. Hampton is loose and over the 50-yard line. Into LSU territory. Lorenzo Hampton before Tim Joyner finally came up from his outside linebacker slot to make the stop on Lorenzo Hampton.
Well, Lorenzo Hampton starting out like he did last week against Mississippi State. He had an excellent running game against Mississippi State, and on this play again shows his breakaway speed. It shows that he has good agility in the open field.
27-yard run on the first play from scrimmage by Hampton. First down at the LSU 48-yard line for Florida. Wayne Peace, the outstanding junior, calling the signals. This is Jones straight ahead, and he is stacked up. Maybe got one. Leonard Marshall coming up strong from his right tackle spot to stand Jones straight up. I'll tell you, Marshall is a horse. He's a 6'4" senior, weighs 280 pounds, out of Franklin, Louisiana.
Well, you know, the main person in LSU's defense is Ramsey Dardar, the nose guard. He's a 3- or 4-year starter for them, and he's going to bottle up the inside of the line for the running attack.
Pickup of a half-yard by Jones, second down, and let's call it a long 9 for the Gators. Just in LSU territory. Now setting up as a slot back is Hampton on the right side. Jones, the remaining back. He swings it out to Jones on the right side. In the flat, Jones breaks one tackle. He's over the 45, dives ahead close to the 42-yard line before James Britt, the captain of the LSU defense, James Britt, number 11, came up to make the stop for the Bengal Tigers.
That's a play, Randy, that's worked very well for Florida throughout the season. It's kind of a flare pattern to Jones, the fullback, who's an excellent receiver in his own right. And as you can see, he showed some excellent running ability in the open field.
Pickup of 6 by the All-Southeastern Conference fullback Jones. Third down and 4 for the Gators. LSU Bengal Tigers defense digging in on this play. Critical third down play. Bootleg, Peace rolling. He's got the first down and much more. Cuts back into the 25, the 20. Finally dragged down from behind at the 15-yard line. Al Richardson and Jeff Dale over to make the stop on Wayne Peace, but a big run. And I think, Richard, that was a run all the way.
Well, I think he was looking for the wide receiver, Randy, on the left side. Either Jackson or the other wide receiver, but they were both covered. And Peace made a good play, made a good choice in deciding to run the ball, and he showed some speed in that running play.
25-yard gain for Peace on that run. First down, Gators at the LSU 16-yard line. Out of the I formation, Jones and Hampton. Both receivers flank to the left side. This is Lorenzo Hampton crashing over right tackle. He gets down close to the 12-yard line. He's stopped by Rydell Malanson, junior left outside linebacker. Hampton will come out of the lineup now, and checking into the Gator backfield is the exciting freshman John L. Williams, who really came into his own a week ago when the Gators defeated Mississippi State here on this field. Williams in the third quarter ran for 57 yards and a touchdown. He is exciting. Number 22 dotting the I. It's second down and 6 for Florida, the 13 of the Bengal Tigers. Peace. This is Williams straight ahead, not much. Really gang tackling the line of scrimmage. Ramsey Dardar, the big nose guard, 260. And Leonard Marshall coming up from his right tackle spot to close it off in the middle. No gain on the play. It'll be third down and 6.
Randy, I think Florida's going to find out that they're going to have to run the sweeps. They're going to have to go to the outside a little bit more against LSU than maybe they have had to do against the other teams they've played, mainly because of Dardar.
Big call here, third and 6 for Florida. Split backfield behind quarterback Wayne Peace. He looks to the left side. He has a man open at the end zone, and he overthrows Spencer Jackson, the intended receiver. Good coverage over there on the play by Captain James Britt, the left cornerback for LSU.
That type of a play is almost impossible to defend. It's a play that Florida has scored, I think, a couple of times this year on. And all you can hope to do is that the quarterback just either overthrows him or underthrows him a little bit, because it's almost impossible to defend.
Jim Gainey, the senior from Gainesville, will come in to try a field goal. They'll spot the ball at about the 19-yard line. It'll be a 29-yard effort. Gainey is 2 for 4 so far for the Gators this season. He splits the uprights. It is good. And Florida has gone on top, capping off their first drive. And a nicely executed first drive, I might say, which bogged down to the 19-yard line, was wound up in a 29-yard field goal. Florida goes on top 3-0, and we'll be right back at Florida Field with the score. The Gators 3, the Tigers 0.
A perfect egg. Or is it? Magnified 20,000 times, you see imperfections you never knew existed. Look into a car's carburetor, and you may see something you never knew existed. Dirt. Dirt that could impede your car's performance. Fortunately, you can wash dirt away before it accumulates with mobile detergent gasoline. It treats dirt like dirt.
Investment that keeps performing. Datsun cars, trucks, and wagons from W.O. Bankston, #1 in Louisiana in Datsun sales. #1 in our annual clearance sale. We've slashed the prices on every remaining 82 car and truck in stock. Sentra, Stanza, 200SX, 280ZX, and all our trucks are all drastically reduced. When we have a sale, it's a real sale. When you want Datsun, remember, you can bank on W.O. Bankston.
A well-executed drive by the Florida Gators, Richard. Back deep to receive for the Tigers. The kickoff from Gainey, Eric Martin, and Gary James. And this one is going to go out of bounds, so they'll have a 5-yard penalty and kick it over. Goes out of bounds at about the 19-yard line. So Gainey will tee it up again from 5 yards deeper in Florida territory. And in just a few moments, we'll have our first look at an exciting LSU Tiger offense. In fact, an offense that is averaging 49 points a game in their first 2 games of the year, with handy wins over both Oregon State and Rice. The Bengal Tigers come in here with not only the leading scoring average, but also the leading scorer in the nation, a young freshman tailback named Dalton Hilliard. And we'll get our first look at Mr. Hilliard in just a moment.
Randy, it looks like LSU is going to take the down where it went out of bounds. They're going to get the ball on about the 27-yard line.
Really not a bad decision in this instance.
I don't think so either.
So the Tigers will start with good field position on their initial drive. 11:13 left to play in the first period. At quarterback, the Slidell Slinger from Slidell, Louisiana, Alan Risher. Tell you more about Risher. What an outstanding career he's had in his 3 years as a starting quarterback. Handoff to the tailback. Straight ahead is Dalton Hilliard. He's the young man we were just telling you about, and he gets good yardage out to near the 35-yard line for Florida's free safety, Tony Lilly. Comes up to make the stop on Hilliard.
Tackle by Lilly.
Pickup of 8 yards. And that'll bring up second down and 2 for the Bengal Tigers on their own 34-yard line. Split backfield. Michael Montz and Dalton Hilliard set behind Risher. They will block as he drops straight back to pass. Looking downfield, receivers covered. He does not quite get back to the line of scrimmage, or maybe just at the line of scrimmage before he is dropped by Val Brown, the Gators' outside linebacker. Brings up third down and 2.
Randy, we're going to see a pretty good balance between running and passing on the part of LSU. Risher is an outstanding quarterback as far as passing is concerned. Short passes. He'll hit his tight end Malcolm Scott. He'll hit his tailbacks quite a bit. He doesn't have a real strong arm as far as throwing deep is concerned, but when he does, look for Eric Martin, the split end, to be his target.
Both wideouts flank to the right side, and he's looking in that direction. Straight drop back over the middle. Pass is complete to Michael Montz. Montz gets out close to the 38-yard line. He has a first down. Malcolm Scott, rather, the big tight end, pulled that one in for a first down. Malcolm Scott, 6'5", 234 from New Orleans. And here it is again.
Well, Malcolm Scott just hesitated before coming across the middle. He let the LSU just let the Florida's front line in as quickly as possible, and Scott was wide open in front of the linebackers. Good
tackle by Fernando Jackson. First down, LSU at their own 39-yard line. Eric Martin flanked to the right side. Risher rolls out to the right. He's got one on the way to Martin, and it's complete. Martin pulls it in inside the Florida 20-yard line. Vito McKeever down there with the backfield coverage for the Florida defense, along with Ivory Curry. But Eric Martin is their deep threat man, and he pulled in a nicely thrown ball from Alan Risher.
Yeah, Randy, that was an important play for a couple of reasons. First of all, Martin is an excellent deep threat for LSU, and he faked an out pattern and actually faked Vito McKeever out. And that's the reason the play went for the distance that it did, because McKeever was really out of position on the play.
Double tight end, and they shift into the I. The tailback, Hilliard, over the 15, down close to the 13-yard line before he's tripped up by Tommy Wigman, one of the Gators' inside linebackers. 42-yard gain, by the way, on that run prior to that.
Vito McKeever is starting his first game for Florida this year. Ricky Eastman had started last week, who is a sophomore. McKeever has been hurt the whole year. This is his first game he started. I think LSU may be picking on him. We may see a lot of passes thrown over McKeever's side today.
Once again, out of the I, it's second down and 3 for the Bengal Tigers on the Gator 13-yard line. Tripped up is Dalton Hilliard, but still plunges ahead up close to the 10-yard line. Making the initial contact for the Florida defense was Fernando Jackson. I'll tell you, Jackson is only 5'11", 210, but he certainly plays a lot bigger than that. The big hit man for the Florida defense, number 49, Fernando Jackson. But now the Florida defense will be put to the task. It is 3rd and 1 at the 11-yard line. Once again, they'll line up in the I formation. Eric Martin in motion to the left side. This is Dalton Hilliard, and he will have the first down and lunges over for a touchdown. Dalton Hilliard, who leads the nation in scoring with 5 touchdowns, executing an 11-yard run beautifully. And we'll get to see another look at this exciting young freshman from Patterson, Louisiana, Dalton Hilliard.
Dalton Hilliard is very impressive. He really has good cutback abilities. He's very quick from the line of scrimmage as far as starting out is concerned. And really, that shouldn't have been a touchdown. He made a lot of that on his own.
injured Gator on the field is their starting left tackle, junior Roy Harris, and that would be a blow to the Florida defensive front line if Harris is unable to continue this afternoon, Richard, because they were already thin up front, and Harris is a big, strong rock there at left tackle. He's had some injury problems all season long. In fact, missed the start of this season with an injury. He's being helped off the field. So the Gators defensive coaches can only hope that Roy Harris, it's nothing too serious, and perhaps he can come back and continue this afternoon.
Well, their other defensive tackle also is not starting today, John Whitaker. Alton Jones is in there. He's a sophomore. So now we have both first-team defensive tackles for Florida not playing right now.
Juan Carlos Betanzos, the sophomore from Mexico City, in to tack on the extra point. The hold, Betanzos' kick is perfect. And LSU has gone on top on their first possession this afternoon with a well-executed drive. They have taken the lead with 7:59 left to play in the first quarter. We'll be right back with the score. LSU 7, Florida 3. Let's pick up the Tigers lead at 7-3. 6:29 left in the first period. Montz set behind quarterback Alan Risher. Hilliard behind him. This is Hilliard, the tailback, cutting back. He's up over the 40, the 45, and finally gang tackled. Leading the charge for the Gator defense was free safety Tony Lilly. Well, Hilliard, as we mentioned, has 5 touchdowns in the first 2 games. He has 1 this afternoon already, and he leads the nation in scoring. And as you can see from this running ability, that's a good indication of why he is currently leading the nation with 6 touchdowns.
Well, Hilliard's a very good runner if he has any opening at all, and LSU's offensive line is blowing Florida's defensive line off the line of scrimmage. They moved the ball very well in their first offensive series. I'm very interested to see if they can do it as well this second time. On this first play, they sure did.
Got to measure and see if Hilliard has the first down yardage. He appears to be a few inches short. So that'll bring up a second down and less than a yard for the LSU Tigers. Hilliard came out of a very small AA high school in Patterson, Louisiana. He's only a freshman. And they have another freshman who complements him very well. A runner we have not seen yet this afternoon named Gary James. I'm sure we will before the afternoon is over. Eric Martin, the wide receiver, lines up wide to the left side. And Alan Risher, who last year completed 63% of his passes in an otherwise dismal year for LSU, is operating. Hilliard this time is stacked up by Wilbur Marshall, Florida's demonic outside linebacker, number 88, who has just been absolutely sensational. All Southeastern Conference performer last year, and this year leading the Gators in tackles again with 39 coming into this game. He is awesome. He did pick up enough yardage for the first down, so the Tigers have it first to 10 at their own 47-yard line. Mike Gambrell over the ball. Risher tosses back to Hilliard. He tries to get out and just does get up over the 50-yard line into Gator territory before Randy Clark and Fred McAllister team up to make the hit for the Florida defense.
Well, LSU is sure running Hilliard a lot this early in the game. LSU's philosophy, as far as James and Hilliard is concerned, is to use whoever's doing the best. And Hilliard so far is doing very well, so James may not be playing too much.
Pickup of only 2. So it's 2nd and 8 from the midfield stripe. Split backfield. Risher has Hilliard again. It's complete at the 45 of Florida, and he dives forward to about the 42-yard line. Fernando Jackson in on the stop again for Florida. Pound for pound, there probably isn't a better linebacker in the Southeast than Fernando Jackson.
Randy, both LSU's wide receivers were lined up on the same side of the field, and they pushed off the cornerback and the safety of Florida's, allowing Hilliard, the tailback, to kind of run a quick out pattern in front of the linebacker. And picked up, looks like maybe enough for the first down. About 7 yards.
They will bring out the chains and we'll have a measurement. Coach Jerry Stonewall, Richard, felt that this offensive line was by far the biggest and most experienced. In fact, from tackle to tackle, they average 266 pounds and 6'3". They're going to be just short on the first down yardage, but they've got some horses up front. And when you combine that with awesome speed, like the 4.5 speed of Dalton Hilliard and Gary James, you have a potent running game. And last year, out of the veer, as you know, Risher was forced to pass very, very often. But this year, they have a running game. They've switched to the pro-I offense and taking advantage of these speedy tailbacks like Hilliard and James.
Well, LSU's only lost 2 starters from last year, didn't they, Randy?
That's correct.
I think 2 starters, and they've picked up 2 tailbacks plus a year of experience for Risher, so they're a much improved ball club.
Gator defense digs in. It's 3rd and inches, and dancing over the 40-yard line into first down territory is Dalton Hilliard again, but there's a flag on the play. And we'll wait to see what the penalty is. It was thrown at the near side of the field. Offsides is the call against Florida, so it will be a first down. LSU on the march again. Their first possession, they marched smartly down the field and covered 73 yards, capped off by an 11-yard score by Dalton Hilliard after Florida had taken the initial lead 3-0 on a 29-yard field goal by Jim Gandy. But the Tigers have a first down, and they're on the march at the Florida 38-yard line.
Well, Randy, LSU's mixing up their offense quite well. They're running to the left, they're running to the right, they're hitting their tailbacks, they've hit their tight end on a pass, and they've also hit their split end Martin on a deep pass. They're really mixing up well, and I don't think Florida right now has a rhythm going on their defense.
First down, Risher straight drop back. Looks to the right side, pass is complete to Hilliard, and Hilliard is free. He has one man to beat, and that's Tony Lilly, and Lilly drags him down from behind at the 8-yard line. Hilliard almost broke it for his second touchdown of the afternoon.
Randy, that's a play that a lot of pro teams use. It's a tailback coming out of the backfield. He comes up to the line of scrimmage and then breaks across the middle in front of the linebackers, and Florida's defense was kind of moving over to the left. He was the only LSU receiver that was moving to their left, to Florida's right, and he almost broke it for a touchdown. It was a good defensive effort by Lilly to prevent a touchdown.
First and goal for LSU. Knocking on the door at the 8-yard line. Tripped up, second man through is Dalton Hilliard, and another flag has been dropped. Roy Harris, who limped off the field a while back, has come on to make the tackle on Hilliard, tripped him up behind the line of scrimmage, and the penalty is going to be walked off against the Bengal Tigers. Florida obviously will accept, deep in their own territory. Richard, LSU, many observers felt, was very underrated coming into the season. And although the caliber of the opposition in their first 2 games perhaps wasn't top 20 caliber, they certainly exploded and proved that they could play offensive football.
Well, one of the most important things that can happen to a team playing teams like Oregon State and Rice is that it builds confidence for them. They came out and averaged 49 points a game for 2 games in a row, and I think they can do it against Florida today, and so far it looks like they can.
Gary James is into the backfield along with Michael Watts. James, number 23, the exciting freshman. A flag is dropped. In fact, flags all over the field. It may have been the right tackle who moved on the LSU line. We'll wait and see. That's correct. Lance Smith, number 75, a little over anxious down there, and they will walk it off back to the Florida 19-yard line. So consecutive penalties now against the LSU Tigers have backed them up to the Gator 19-yard line.
So far, it looks like only penalties is going to stop LSU. They're looking like they can run at will against Florida, or move the ball at will, either passing or running.
First down and goal from the 18-yard line. Risher's pass, somehow hanging onto it is Gary James, and James is decked immediately, trying to get up around the 20-yard line by Ivory Curry. Marvelous catch by the young freshman Gary James, but for no gain.
Yeah, we're going to see an excellent catch by James. The pass was thrown behind him, and maybe James could have picked up some yardage had the pass been thrown good, but all he did is get back to the line of scrimmage about it.
Well, Florida defensively having to make some adjustments here, and they're finding out why LSU has the best team speed in the Southeastern Conference. Straight ahead is Michael Motz. He's still on his feet. He dives over the 10-yard line. Vito McKeever starting this afternoon at left quarterback for the Gators. Coming up to make the hit, but Montz is down just shy of the Florida 10-yard line. That'll bring up a 3rd down and goal to go.
Well, Montz is a big, strong senior fullback. He weighs 216 pounds, and that's the first time today, I believe, that he's run the ball. So again, LSU's mixing the plays up quite well against Florida. I don't think Florida quite knows what to do in order to stop LSU right now. It's 3rd and 11. This is an important play.
Big play. 3rd and goal. Risher straight back. His pass is complete, but and still on his feet is Gary James. James run out of bounds at the 5-yard line. Gary James pushed out of bounds by Ivory Curry, along with some help from Fernando Jackson. Once again, we'll see this exciting young freshman. Take a look. Well, James, very highly recruited Gary James.
James is a very good wide receiver also, as well as a running back. And LSU uses both tailbacks quite a bit as receivers. James almost scored on the play.
In to attempt the field goal is Juan Carlos Betanzos from Mexico City. They will spot it at the 12. A 22-yard effort is on its way, and it is good. So Betanzos has widened LSU's lead over Florida to 7 points with a minute and 40 left to go in the first period at Florida Field at Gainesville. It's LSU 10, the Florida Gators 3. Richard, we have seen 2 smartly executed offensive drives by LSU this afternoon, and they've come out of them both with points, so that is important early in the game. Betanzos' kickoff goes out of bounds. They drop the flag at about the 12-yard line, so Florida will no doubt accept the penalty and ask them to kick it over from 5 yards further back.
Well, it's kind of surprising that LSU and Florida are moving the ball so well. We knew Florida had a good offense. LSU was questionable just because of their prior opponents. But the main reason is because Florida has an excellent defense. They have a very good defense. They held Mississippi State to their lowest, I think, rushing total in quite a while. They've played 3 quality opponents, and none of them have run or passed against Florida to any great consistency, and LSU sure has done it so far.
That last drive, 69 yards, 10 plays, which covered 4 minutes and 49 seconds. Betanzos, barefoot boot, will settle in the end zone, driving John L. Williams deep, and he will wisely down it. Good pursuit, as LSU special teams were down quickly on the coverage, so the Gators will take over. First and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Alan Risher has been marvelous this afternoon. To this point, he is 6 for 6 for 83 yards in passing. And coming into this game, he needed only 147 yards to surpass the all-time LSU career passing record owned by Burt Jones. So Alan Risher is functioning extremely well this afternoon on the artificial turf here at Florida Field. First down, Florida, their own 20. Wayne Peace of the I formation, James Jones, and Lorenzo Hampton. Cutting back, going against the grain is Jones, and a good run by James. He's up over the 25-yard line. Pickup of about 5 by the big Southeastern Conference All-Star, Rydell Malencon, in on the stop for the LSU Tigers. It'll be 2nd down and 5. Wayne Peace, who's a management major. He's incidentally an academic all-Southeastern Conference performer off the field as well as on. 2nd and 5, again out of the eye. Now Hampton goes into the slot right. Flag on the play, swings it out to Jones. The big fullback takes on a tackler head on and gets out close to the 28 before he is bumped out of bounds. Flag dropped to the play in the Gator backfield. And that usually indicates illegal procedure, and I would imagine it had something to do with Lorenzo Hampton lining up in that slot back right formation. But we'll wait for the call. Now Hampton comes to the sidelines. Checking into the Gator backfield will be freshman John L. Williams. 5-yard mark off, so it's back to the original line of scrimmage, which was the 20. Where it'll be 2nd down and 10 for Florida.
Randy, I think Florida just at this point in time just can't panic. They've got to settle down a little bit. Offensively, they're doing fine. I think defensively, I would imagine they're trying to make some adjustments right now, see what they can do to stop LSU's offense.
Spencer Jackson and Dwayne Dixon both flanked to the left side. And now There's a whistle, and let's see. The referee will step in, and we'll see what the call is. Florida is going to be penalized, I believe, for delay of game. Or John Hunt, it appeared, moved, the left guard. Movement on that offensive line, and another careless error by Florida has pushed them 5 yards deeper. That'll be 2nd down and 15. They need to get to the 30 for a first down. John L. Williams coming off the field quickly. And checking back in is sophomore Lorenzo Hampton. But of course, 2nd and 15 alters your play calling quite a bit. Dwayne Dixon is flanked wide to the left side. Jackson wide to the right. Peace looks for Dixon. And the pass is batted down at the line of scrimmage by Leonard Marshall. Big Leonard Marshall, 6'4", 280-pound mountain from Franklin, Louisiana. Got his hands up just in time. Pass, he was trying to hit Peace, or rather Dixon, out here on the left side, at the near side of the field.
Randy, the ball's on their own 15-yard line. It's 3rd and 15. I would be surprised, really, to see a pass on this play. We may see a draw. We may just see a running play. So they make sure there's no bad mistake, such as interception, occurs to Florida.
Once again, they send Dixon wide to the left side, deploying Jackson to the right, and Pace will go to the airs. Great drop back, good protection. Starts to break down. He lobs it over the middle. Pass is complete to his tight end, Mike Malarkey, for a first down. Well, we have not yet mentioned that Florida has a pair of outstanding tight ends, Chris Faulkner and this gentleman, Mike Malarkey. Take a look.
Malarkey was open that time, mainly because Peace had a lot of time to throw the ball. The two primary receivers, I think the wide receivers were not open, and Malarkey just kept drifting across the field and raised his hands. Peace saw him, and he could have gained an awful lot of yardage if the pass not been quite so high. But as far as passing on that down, that's the reason why I'm not a coach. And I'm up here. A lot easier to be up here, I'll tell you.
First down at the 35-yard line. This is Hampton. Gets 3, maybe 4 yards. Trying to sweep around right end before Bill Elko cuts him off. Time running out in the first period. We're down to 5 seconds left to play in the first 15 minutes here at Florida Field. There's the horn. And we'll be right back with the second quarter momentarily at Florida Field in Gainesville with a score. The LSU Tigers 10, the Florida Gators 3. Start of the second. A 2nd down and 6. The Tigers, after falling behind 3-0, have roared back to take the lead 10-3 over the 4th-ranked Gators. Florida trying to get out of their own half of the field. And they need 6 for a first down. Hand off to big James Jones. The big guy lunges out over the 45-yard line. The drive and determination in the legs of this outstanding senior from Palmetto Beach, James Jones.
Well, you know, Randy, both of Florida's tight ends are playing now. They've been playing quite a bit. And as you can see, one of them made an excellent block on the defensive end to allow Jones to pick up enough for what looks like a first down. It's going to be close.
James Jones, one of the most versatile fullbacks. Charlie Bell cannot find enough superlatives to say about Jones, number 30. He can catch, he can run, he can block. In fact, his reception, the outstanding touchdown catch, has been seen on more highlight films probably this season against Miami than any other play thus far. The one-handed grab that gave Florida that exciting opening win over the Miami Hurricanes. Well, he's going to be just short of the first down, inches. So it'll bring up a 3rd down and very short. Tough call here. Florida would certainly like to keep this drive alive.
I think they only have about an inch, actually, for the first down. We may see a quarterback sneak.
In the backfield, Hampton dotting the I behind fullback James Jones. Everybody get tight. 2 tight ends. Straight ahead is Jones, and he is stacked up. I don't believe he had it. That LSU defense firing off the ball, led by Ramsey Dardar, Leonard Marshall, and both of the inside linebackers, Richardson and Williams. Well, it's 4th down. In fact, he lost a few inches on the play from where they spotted the ball. So what do you do, Coach Charlie Pell?
Looks like you're going for it.
Do you gamble, giving LSU potentially good field position inside your own territory? Well, this shows you the confidence that Charlie Pell has in that offensive line. They are big and they are strong. Wayne Peace asking for quiet. Critical possession play here for the Gators of their own territory. This is Hampton, and he's stacked up. He leaped, and it all depends on where they're going to spot the ball. Jeff Dale coming in with a stop on Lorenzo Hampton. But it would appear in the air as though he had just enough.
It's close, Randy.
The LSU players are saying, no, he did not make it. And they are saying he did not, and it's going to be LSU ball. So Hampton did not get the necessary inches for the first down, trying to leap over left tackle. And it's going to be Tiger ball in Gator territory.
I tell you, Randy, I don't really understand why Coach Pell didn't ask for a measurement on that. It is as close as you can get. It looks to me like it's right on the line. And he didn't ask for a measurement on the play. I guess he knows what he's doing.
Alan Risher, man in motion to the right side. Hands to his tailback. This is Hilliard. Hilliard trying to turn the corner, and he is driven out of bounds after picking up about 4 yards at the 41-yard line.
Well, I hope we can see Wilbur Marshall on this play. He came from the right side of Florida's defensive line, ran clear across the field, and was in on the tackle. That's the kind of player that Wilbur Marshall is. He's all over the field. He's a big play performer for Florida.
Tight end Malcolm Scott set to the right side. Eric Martin moves in now, close on the left side. Single flanker split wide to the right, out of the I formation. Hilliard lobs a pass downfield, and just over the outstretched arms of his intended receiver, Junius Durrell. Well, talk about a fellow who can do it all. He's a running back, he's a receiver, and he's also a pretty good passer, although that was just out of the reach of Junius Durrell.
Well, I think Vito McKeever, the cornerback for Florida, saw the play developing. He was really had the play covered pretty well. It would have had to been a perfect pass for LSU to have completed that play.
3rd down and 6 at the Florida 41-yard line. Risher with a lot of time. Now a rush. Swings it out of the right side, and breaking a tackle is Hilliard. He's loose. Hilliard is over the 15, the 10. He's going to score. Dalton Hilliard executing a brilliant run and picking up his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon, and LSU has widened its lead to 16-3.
I tell you, I've seen some good running backs this year, but for a freshman especially, Dalton Hilliard has got to be one of the best in the nation. It was just a screen pass to Hilliard, and as you can see, the rest was up to him. There were a couple of very nice blocks by LSU.
Juan Carlos Betanzos will attempt another extra point. The hold. His kick is true. And we'll be right back at Florida Field as the Gators will try and regroup. Suddenly finding themselves down after taking an initial 3-0 lead. The score with 13:15 left to play in the 2nd quarter. The LSU Tigers 17, the Gators 3. Points on the board.
They need to make some defensive adjustments. The only time they're going to really have the opportunity to do so is at halftime. I think right now, as far as Coach Pell is concerned, they hope they can stay close to LSU. LSU's moving the ball fine.
One adjustment already, and that is Bob Huco. The senior is in at quarterback, and he hands off to John L. Brown, and Brown is stacked up almost behind the line of scrimmage by Al Richardson. Well, LSU right now, both offensively and defensively, Richard is certainly controlling the line of scrimmage.
Yes, they are, Randy. They seem to have a little bit more spirit, too, today than Florida. But, you know, it's still early in the ball game. They're down only 2 touchdowns. Florida is by far not out of the game.
Tyrone Young is in at one wideout spot, flank to the left side. Single setback is James Jones. Wayne Peace, or rather Huco, forced to go to the air. His pass is complete to Tyrone Young out over the 25-yard line. Eugene Daniel with good coverage at his right quarterback spot, coming up to make the stop on Tyrone Young. That's only Tyrone Young's 2nd reception of the season. He's an outstanding senior, but His past couple of years, he's really been hampered by injuries.
That was kind of a dangerous pass, actually. LSU's cornerback was right there up on the play, and Tyrone Young's 6'6", and I think that's the reason why it was fairly safe to throw it to him.
3rd and 4. Peace again will go to the air. His pass is batted down by Leonard Marshall again. The second time that a Florida quarterback, that's Hugo, has looked up and found Leonard Marshall's arms at his face, and he bats down the pass. And Florida will give it up again. Criswell will come into punt for the Gators. LSU leading it 17-3. And that'll raise some eyebrows around the nation when this halftime score is heard, if it stands. Criswell with a snap from center. This time gets off a much better punt. His last one was 24 yards at the 34-yard line. Jeffrey Dale on the return. Good coverage by the Gators as Dale only returns it to the 40-yard line. Once again, LSU will begin operating in good field position at their own 40.
I tell you, Randy, I've seen Leonard Marshall on several plays almost knock down some passes. He has knocked down 2. Florida's left tackle and left guard or tight end, whoever's assignment it is to hit Marshall, has got to hit him lower. They've got to chop him down, keep him low so he can't get those hands up.
Man in motion is Earl Curtis, the tight end. He sets up to the left side. Risher hands off to his fullback, Montz. Montz barrels straight ahead out over the 45-yard line. He's stacked up around the 48 by Rodney Billett. Billett filling in for the injured Roy Harris at left tackle, making the stop. But a good gain of 8 on the play by Montz. And it'll bring up 2nd down and 2 for the Tigers. Lone wideout is Eric Martin. He's flanked to the left side. Handoff to Dalton Hilliard. And once again, he gets first down yardage into Gator territory. Lunging down to close to the 45-yard line. Dalton Hilliard, who already has a couple of touchdowns under his belt this afternoon. Penalty is being walked off against the LSU Tigers. And apparently from the spot of the foul at their own 49-yard line. This is going to be a 15-yarder, which pushes LSU all the way back to their own 37-yard line. Offensive holding, the call. So LSU is pushed back to their own 37. It's 2nd down and 12. Crowd on its feet here at Florida Field. Predominantly, of course, Gator fans. Risher straight drop back, looks over the middle, pass just overthrown for Earl Curtis, his tight end. Quick look in over the middle, and Curtis, honestly, I thought he could have had that ball, but could not control it. Fernando Jackson there defensively with good coverage for the Gators.
Randy, as just as a student of the game, you've got to like the way LSU is moving the ball offensively. They're running quick openers, they're running lead plays, they're running screen passes, they're running deep passes. They're doing everything in the playbook.
3rd down and 12. Gary James gets the call. He's the outstanding freshman. This is Montz. Montz is stacked up at the 40-yard line by Wilbur Marshall. Marshall with help from Fred McAllister, so they come up short, and LSU will have to kick it away to the Gators.
I'm not sure. Isn't this the first punt by LSU today?
First performance by Clay Parker, and you might notice that he is a barefoot punter. Nonetheless, when the skin hits the pigskin, he makes good contact. He's averaging 43 yards a punt. This one coming up a little bit short, and it's going to go out of bounds. The near side of the field, let's see, they will mark it at about the 35-yard line. So the Gators, off a rather poor punt by Clay Parker, will have pretty good field position. Scores LSU 17, Florida 3, 10-12 left to play in the second period here at Florida Field. Well, it appeared last week that the Gators had found the balance needed to execute a strong offense. They had good running from their tailbacks. Had, as usual, a great afternoon from fullback James Jones to complement the passing of Wayne Peace, but they just have as yet to get that running game established here this afternoon against the LSU defense. Hampton trying to turn the corner. He gets around the left side, and he's run out of bounds. Now we have a flag dropped in the backfield, and we'll wait and see what this penalty is. Gary Roll clearing the way for Lorenzo Hampton with a fine block out of the left corner. Jeffrey Dale on the stop.
Randy, I think it was a fine block by Roll, but I believe they're going to call clipping on the play. Let's see. Yes, they are.
Personal foul, 15-yarder.
It looked to me like Roll's head was in front of the defender.
Well, that was my impression on the sweep around the left side, but nonetheless, a big penalty will push Florida all the way back to their own 21-yard line.
Let's watch this on the replay and see if it was or not.
Peace does have the benefit of a fine offensive line to protect him. In fact, from tackle to tackle, the big men up front average 257 pounds and 6'4" in height. First down at 23 now. Peace rather, back in there. Peace goes to the air. Complete. Just inside the 32-yard line to Gary Roll. So Roll lining up at the other side of the field. This time with a fine reception. Roll caught a 44-yarder last week against Mississippi State.
Randy, as far as that clip was concerned, we'll just let the viewers decide.
Florida's been penalized 4 times for 30 yards thus far in the contest. Second down at their own 31-yard line. They need 14 for a first down. So Hugo, after operating for 1 series, is replaced by Peace. He's in big trouble, and he's swarmed under by a sea of gold and white jerseys. Ramsey Dardar, number 98, their great nose guard, leading the charge with some help from left tackle Bill Elko.
Florida just can't seem to have any consistency going on offense. They'll make a good play, they'll make a good run, they'll get a first down, and then a penalty will stop them, or on this case, they'll get a quarterback sack that'll set them back. There's just no consistency going thus far for Florida.
Loss on the play of the sack brings up a 3rd and 20. Their own 25. Peace, draw play. Jones gets about 5, and he's stacked up at the 33-yard line by Ramsey Dardar. Not a bad call in that instance on a 3rd and 20, but only netting about 5 out of it, so it'll bring up a punting situation again for Ray Criswell. Criswell, the freshman from Gainesville. Played high school football in the shadow of Florida Field. Good snap from center. Criswell gets off a beautiful punt. This one over the head of Jeffrey Dale. And if a Gator can get to it, they down it at about the 1-yard line. Well, Criswell got off a honey that time that went over Jeffrey Dale's head, and obviously Dale thought it was going to go into the end zone. Good pursuit by Florida. Lawrence Patrick, a linebacker, was the first one to down the ball, and LSU will begin operating deep in the hole at their own 2-yard line.
I'm not sure Dale could have gotten to that ball. It was a very good line drive punt by Criswell. How far did that go?
70-yard punt for Criswell. Not too shabby. Well, here's Hilliard and Muntz, and a fumble in the end zone, and falling on it is LSU, and they are down for a safety. Well, LSU losing the handle on the ball in their own end zone, recovering the fumble, but Florida falling on it. They'll get 2 points for the safety. And the score is now the Tigers 17, the Gators 5. We'll be back with a kick in just a moment in the second period with 8:26 remaining. It's LSU 17, Florida 5.
An opportunity.
Williams out to his 30-yard line, the 35, cutting into the middle of the field. He's hit by 3 or 4 Bengal Tigers and dropped at the 37-yard line. So the Gators come out of it with good field position. And the crowd now is starting to become more of a part of this game, following the safety by the Florida Gators.
Well, I don't know why LSU's quarterback didn't get the ball on the snap. That should never happen. There shouldn't be any deviation whatsoever between the center and the quarterback, especially when it gets down on the 2-yard line.
I guess the only option is to go to the single wing. 41-yard line is the line of scrimmage. Straight ahead, Lorenzo Hampton, and a good tackle. Hampton gets a couple of tough yards. Rydell Malencon coming up, number 99, from his outside linebacker spot.
Randy, that play, the safety that Florida got could change this game around. I think Florida needed some big play of some type, and this was a very big play, obviously, on the part of Florida. They didn't really even have to do anything to get it. Of course, the punt by Criswell put them back deep in their territory, and then the mistake by the center and the quarterback of LSU.
2nd down and 9, pickup of 1 by Hampton. Single setback is Jones. Wayne Peace through the air, pass batted down, broken up again. This time Tim Joyner, outside linebacker, coming in there. A quick slant pass over the right side, and for the 3rd time this afternoon, Wayne Peace has had a pass broken up by one of those big, tall defenders of LSU.
Yeah, I think that LSU has a good scouting report on Florida. Florida likes to throw a lot of those quick passes over the middle to the wide receivers, just up and fire it, and that's the primary way of defending it, is the defensive tackles, defensive ends getting their hands up and either blocking the quarterback's view or knocking the pass down.
Same alignment this time. It is 3rd down and 9. Peace looks to the left side, slant in, and a good reception by Spencer Jackson. Boy, I'll tell you, the timing on that play was absolutely perfect between quarterback Wayne Peace and his receiver, Spencer Jackson. And Richard, as an ex-receiver, you can certainly appreciate a play that is so critical at timing as that one is.
I sure can, Randy. That's on that type of a play, timing is almost everything. It has to be thrown perfect. It has to be thrown where the receiver is not breaking stride. And Peace just threw a bullet right into Jackson's belly. It's a good play.
John L. Williams checks in now at tailback. He is flanked to the left side of the backfield. James Jones blocking. Wayne Peace looks to the right sideline. Pass is intercepted and dropped, almost picked off by Eugene Daniel.
Well, LSU's defense was they were in a zone defense, and they were kind of rolling over to that side, so to speak, where the cornerback is playing the flat, the outside safety is playing the deep play, and that really isn't a good pass defense to throw that type of pass on, and it almost was picked off, like you said.
It was intended for Tyrone Young, who is 6'6", but Daniel had the angle on the ball and just missed the interception before he stepped out of bounds. 7:05 left to play, 2nd period. LSU 17, Florida 5. It is 2nd down and 10 from the 44-yard line of the Tigers. Tosses back to John L. Williams. Williams tries to get around the right side, and he's cut down by Al Richardson, along with help from Tim Joyner.
Well, Randy, you remember the Chinese Bandits, those the defense LSU used to have. They used to call them back in, I guess it was the 60s.
Right.
And one of the primary reasons they were so good is because their pursuit was so good. Coach Stovall kind of analogizes this year's team to the Chinese Bandits. He says their pursuit is very good on wide plays. And on that play, you could see that's what happened. LSU really moves laterally well on defense.
Now they deploy Dwayne Dixon wide to the right side, Spencer Jackson to the left, and Wayne Peace will go to the air. Pass is intended for Lorenzo Hampton. There's a flag of the play. Hampton was blasted from behind. He was really jarred, but there is a penalty flag of the play. Eugene Daniel coming up to drill Hampton from behind. Looks like it could be offensive holding again against Florida, which would force them into a punting situation. That is a call, and they will step off 15 big yards, 10 rather, against the Florida Gators, almost back to the midfield stripe.
Florida penalized 10 yards, holding.
So they will get the down over, so it'll be 3rd down and 6.
Well, that's the
16, I beg your pardon. Interesting call.
Yeah, it's the same thing that's been happening in Florida all day long. Penalties, quarterback sacks, whatever. They just don't have any consistency yet.
Spencer Jackson wide to the left side. Dwayne Dixon to the right. Dixon, their leading receiver, has not caught a pass yet this afternoon. He will go to the left side. Another slant into Jackson. It's tipped and intercepted by James Britt. Britt on his feet, cuts to the right side. He's down the sidelines and into Florida territory, run out of bounds at the 35-yard line. So a tip pass intended for Spencer Jackson. Jackson could not control it. And you'll see the interception on this instant replay by James Britt, and a fine run back here.
Well, there was a lot of bumping going around against Jackson before the pass was thrown. But they didn't call any pass interference on the play, and LSU's defender just made an excellent interception. It was a tip ball, and anytime there's a ball that's tipped over the middle of a pass defense, you're going to have a lot of defenders around the ball, and there's a lot of times an interception occurs.
Well, the sun is shining on the LSU Tigers, but not the homestanding Gators. And this is Gary James sweeping around right side and getting down close to the 30-yard line before Tony Lilly came up from his free safety spot to make the hit on Gary James, another outstanding freshman tailback.
Randy, on that last pass interception again, Wayne Peace, the only criticism that he's had that I know of the last couple of years, that he forces some passes over the middle, and I think on that play that pass was forced. He was not in the open.
This time James is dragged down behind the line of scrimmage, back around the 33-yard line by Fernando Jackson, firing through. Boy, I'll tell you, LSU's speed on the sweeps is absolutely frightening, with guys like Dalton Hilliard and Gary James coming around the corners. They've got a couple of good guards up front who get out and make those blocks, Kevin Langford and Mike Turner. Loss of 1 on that play. It is 3rd down and 3. 5:09 left to play in the second quarter. Out of the I formation, Risher has everybody in tight. Eric Martin, flanker to the left side. Straight ahead is Montz. Flag on the play. Montz lunging down to the 26-yard line. He will have a first down, but it may be a procedural call against the flanker, Herman Fontenot. Number 40, I believe, was the offender. Illegal motion called on Herman Fontenot, the wide receiver. And that will negate a fine first down play.
Yeah, this whole first half, I kind of get the feeling the only way the LSU is going to get stopped is by their own mistakes.
Well, they'll walk it back to the Florida 36-yard line. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 8. LSU thus far has been penalized 4 times for 25 yards. Gary James and Michael Montz are the setbacks. Risher, good protection over the middle. It's intercepted. Picked off at the 25-yard line. Tommy Wigman, the inside linebacker from Jacksonville, intercepts a pass intended for Gary James over the middle, and it's Florida's ball on their own 25.
Well, Risher just overthrew James. James was coming across over the middle like they've thrown a couple of passes to the tailbacks today on, and he just threw it right into the arms of Wigman. I'd like to have seen Wigman's eyes on that play. It was right to him.
Thus far, Wayne Peace has passed for 67 yards in this game. And on first down, straight ahead is the tailback, John L. Williams. And he is stacked up for a little gain by Greg Bowser. Bowser, 245-pound nose guard, who backs up very nicely Ramsey Dardar. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 9. Pick up just a half yard or so on the play. Once again, the freshman John L. Williams stays in the game. The wide receivers are Spencer Jackson and Dwayne Dixon. 2nd and long. Tosses back. Cutting up, and a fumble, and a loose ball, and LSU will recover inside the 20-yard line as Williams was smashed at about the 25, coughed it up, and Greg Bowser fell on it for the LSU Tigers. So another quick exchange, and it's Tiger ball in Gator territory at the Florida 20-yard line.
Randy, Al Richardson, the linebacker for LSU, made a heck of a hit on Williams. Williams got it very groggily after the hit and caused the fumble.
So Alan Risher sets his Bengal Tigers down. Man in motion is Malcolm Scott, the tight end, to the right side. First down, straight ahead is Montz. Got good room around the 15. He's at the 10. Has one man to beat, and he's finally forced out of bounds by Tiger Tony Lilly. Lilly playing it tough down there on the corner. And Montz had only Lilly to beat for a touchdown, but fortunately, Lilly, who incidentally leads the team in tackles, tied with Wilbur Marshall in that respect, comes up to save it for Florida. But it's a 1st and goal for the Bengal Tigers at the Florida 5-yard line. And the Gators want a timeout to talk about it. Very concerned head coach Charlie Pell on the sidelines. We'll be right back with the score. The LSU Tigers 17, the Florida Gators 5. Bengal Tigers. Straight ahead is Montz, and he is stacked up, but he picks up about 3. And the Gators are claiming, yes, he did cough it up, and Florida recovers at their own 2-yard line as they unstack the bodies. Let's see who the last person up is. Looks like it's Roy Harris, number 99.
Again, it looks like LSU's mistakes. The only thing that's going to stop them. That time it was a very, very important play for Florida to recover a fumble such as that. There's a big difference between 17-5 or 24-5 if they had scored a touchdown. Believe me, it would change completely Florida's game plan at halftime if they were down 24-5.
Goal line offense for the Gators. Look for Jones. No, the second man through is the tailback, clutching that ball, protecting it, cradling it. Close to his chest is Lorenzo Hampton. He gets out just shy of the 5-yard line, it appears. Leonard Marshall in to make the stop for the Tiger defense. But a pickup of 3. Little breathing room, little operating room down there, and it is now 2nd and 7. 3:15 remaining in the first half here at Florida Field. In a shocker thus far, LSU has stormed out to a 17-5 win. I beg your pardon. The Gators did get a safety. This is Hampton again, and he is stacked up for no gain. Playing it tough is Rydell Malenkov, the junior from Thackeray, Louisiana.
Randy, with that front defensive line of LSU's, Elko, Dardar, and Marshall, they have effectively stopped Florida's inside game. I don't know how many yards James Jones has today, but it's got to be his lowest this year.
Wayne Peace has requested and received a timeout with 2:40 left to play in the first half. And thus far, in what had figured to be a real passing duel between Wayne Peace and his LSU counterpart Alan Risher, unquestionably, Risher has had the better of the afternoon, getting great protection from his offensive line, and his timing has been immaculate between himself and his receivers. They have executed almost flawlessly here in the first half.
Well, Randy, I watched Risher last year against Florida. In fact, I think we did the telecast last year, and Risher looks to be a lot better quarterback this year. And I think the primary reason, besides the fact that he's a year older, is the fact that they've changed to the pro set with the I formation instead of the veer offense that they had last year. That gives that allows a more varied type of an offense for LSU, and I think it's better exploits Risher's talents. Now he has a little bit more time to find the wide receivers. He can hit his tailbacks like they didn't do last year. They just have a lot better type of an offense now with Risher back there than they had last year. And of course the tailbacks for LSU gives them another dimension that they didn't have last year.
It's a lot more like the LSU teams of old, very physical and a great pursuit, by the way, on defense. Lorenzo Hampton, 7 carries, 41 yards thus far. He wears number 7, and he will block as Wayne Peace goes to the air, lobs it to the left sideline, and it's going to be intercepted by James Britt. And Britt hits the ground and coughs up the ball, but they're going to rule that he was already down before he let loose of the ball. James Britt, with his 2nd interception, gives LSU good field position again. And once again, the Gator defense has to go out with their backs to the wall. First down, LSU at the Florida 27-yard line. And here's another look at Britt's interception.
Well, again, LSU is in a zone defense, and the cornerback stayed with the wide receiver, as did the safety man. So there the LSU had 2 people there.
Risher, the handoff straight ahead is the fullback, and he gets a couple of tough yards down around the 25-yard line before he is stacked up.
Miles on the carry.
Jesse Miles on the carry. Miles coming in with his first appearance this afternoon for the Bengal Tigers offense. That brings up 2nd down at 8. Pickup of 2 by Miles. Hilliard now shifts back to dot the I formation. Both wide receivers flank to the left side. This is Hilliard. He's explosive over the 20 down to the 15, and he is a hard man to stop, is Dalton Hilliard. Finally dragging him down from behind is left tackle Rodney Billett.
Well, Hilliard is just an excellent runner. Again, he's so quick off the line. If he has a little bit of a hole like he had in this play, he'll pick up some good yardage for you. LSU relies on their sweeps, using their tailbacks, and they've done it very well today.
Tigers have a first down at the Florida 15-yard line. They lead 17-5. On the sweep is Hilliard. He cuts around the left side, and he's down to the 2-yard line. Another first down for LSU on the legs of one of the most exciting freshmen we have yet to see in college football. Not just this year, but any year, Dalton Hilliard.
He sure is. He's just quicker, I think, along as being faster, as well as being faster than probably any other tailback that Florida has faced this year. And he just outruns the pressure that Florida's defense puts on him on those sweeps.
First and goal at the 2-yard line of the Gators. Man in motion, almost a busted play. Hilliard gets the call. He almost coughs up the ball, but I think he recovered and fell back of the ball around the 5-yard line. He did. Wilbur Marshall in there on the stop for the Gators, and jarring the ball loose initially from Hilliard. Hilliard came into this game the leading scorer in the nation, 5 touchdowns in only 2 games, and will not hurt his average a bit. He already has 2 this afternoon. And they're knocking at the door. Second down at 5 to go. 45 seconds left in the first half. Man in motion to the right side. First man through is the fullback, and he's going to be stopped. Jesse Miles gets down close to the 3-yard line. Pickup of about 2 on the play. That'll bring up 3rd and goal. And LSU has requested and received a timeout with 35 seconds left to play in the first half. Well, down through the years, LSU leads this series between these two schools 15-11. There have been 2 ties. The series began back in 1937, and a year ago at always noisy Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, the Gators jumped out to a 17-0 advantage midway through the second period and held off LSU 24-10. Actually, these 2 teams have been trading victories in their home parks for the last several years. LSU had defeated Florida here 2 years ago. The Gators avenging that at Tiger Stadium last year. And this afternoon, LSU coming in here and playing like they're the home team in the first half.
Randy, so far the offensive line of LSU, of course, is winning the war, or winning the battle against Florida's defensive line, especially the center, Mike Gambrell, for LSU. He's doing an excellent job on those quick openers to the fullback. He's actually moving Florida's nose guard to the right or to the left at will, it looks like. I think he's just a little bit quicker than Florida's defensive nose guard.
3rd down and 3. Risher will lob it in the air. The pass is complete at the goal line, and he's in for the touchdown. Dalton Hilliard with his 3rd touchdown of the afternoon. The first one came on a fine run. And here's the replay on his 2nd touchdown reception of the afternoon.
Hilliard just ran just a straight pattern toward the flag, far flag in the end zone, and he really outran Florida's defenders again. They can't get to the ball quick enough because Hilliard's so fast, and Risher really did not make a very good throw on the play. Hilliard made a nice catch.
23-5 LSU, and Juan Carlos Batazos steps up to tack on the extra point. He does. It's perfect. With 30 seconds remaining in the first half, John L. Williams tries to field the ball to the end zone. Now he gets a handle on it and decides to down it, wisely so. And Florida will operate from its own 20-yard line late in the first half, trailing 24-5. Boy, the Gators opened the season with impressive wins over 3 nationally ranked teams: Miami of Florida, Southern Cal, and Mississippi State. They came into this contest ranked 4th in the nation. But when this halftime score is flashed around the country this afternoon, a lot of people are going to do some double takes because LSU has dominated the first 30 minutes of play. See what Wayne Peace does with the ball with a half minute to play. He simply falls on it, and Florida will run out the clock, much to the displeasure of some of the Gator partisans in attendance here this afternoon.
Randy, I hate to keep talking about team speed, but LSU's team speed makes an awful lot of difference in the game. Coach Pell was mainly concerned about LSU's speed, but when you have that extra step, that extra half step by the tailback, by the center, by the wide receivers, it makes a big difference, and it shows today in the scoreboard.
Well, there's the horn, and that is the end of the first half. The LSU Tigers charging into the dressing room with smiles on their faces, and a very concerned fourth-ranked Florida Gator team going into the tunnel with head coach Charlie Pell to try and regroup. We'll be back with the kickoff of the second half in just a moment here at Gainesville, Florida Field, where the score is the LSU Tigers 24, the Florida Gators 5. In the first half, 26 for the Gators, but Alan Risher winning the war of the airwaves this afternoon, 130 yards through the air to 67 for Florida's offense. Risher, magnificent, 8 of 11 with 1 interception. Wayne Peace, 8 of 16 for 50% and 2 interceptions for Florida. But perhaps the key to the first half lies in the number of penalties which were marked off, and they were all critical penalties against LSU. Or, Richard, perhaps the score would have been wider than 24-5.
Well, I think it could have been, Randy. You know, games are won in the trenches normally, and I think that even though Risher's having an outstanding game, and Hilliard is also, I think the offensive and defensive line's winning it for LSU.
We'll be back with the opening kickoff of the second half at Florida Field in Gainesville in just a moment with the score LSU 24, Florida 5.
Fast-moving adventure, courage, romance. Enter the world of master storyteller Louis L'Amour. It takes a special brand of storyteller to sell 120 million books. And now you can join the millions of Louis L'Amour fans who delight in his authentic action-packed novels. See for yourself how he recaptures the excitement of the
About to get underway. Eric Martin, the deep man for the LSU Tigers, along with Gary James. It's over James's head out of the end zone. Beautiful kick by Gainey, and it'll be 1st and 20 for the Tigers at their own 20-yard line. 1st and 10, rather. Boy, in the first half, what can you say about number 21, freshman Dalton Hilliard, the tailback in the I formation, who was virtually a one-man wrecking crew, Richard?
Well, yeah, I don't think you can say enough about him, especially if you're an LSU fan. It's going to be interesting to see how Florida adjusted at halftime to LSU's offense.
Hilliard is in, dotting the I formation. Michael Montz, the fullback. Quarterback Alan Risher. And this crowd has really come to life here at Florida Field with the Gators trailing 24-5. Well, the play had been stopped, and Wilbur Marshall is going to be called probably for roughing the passer as Marshall came in, but I'm sure that he wasn't aware that a motion penalty had been called and a flag had been dropped earlier against the LSU Tigers.
No, I'm sure he didn't realize it.
And he wrapped his big arms around Alan Risher and thought he had his sack, obviously. Risher's all right. He's up and he's walking around. But it's going to be interesting to hear to see if we have offsetting penalties. It's illegal procedure against LSU, personal foul against Florida, negating penalties. That will be the case. So the second half starts in a rather auspicious way. It'll be 1st and 10 for LSU. Once again at their own 20-yard line.
Randy, I noticed Tony Lilly, the safety man for Florida, on this last play, he was bouncing around quite a bit. He was up on the line of scrimmage, then he backed up, and then got back up again. It makes me wonder if LSU has been using a lot of audibles in the first half, which maybe is the reason they were so successful on offense. And I think maybe they were keying on a safety man, and whatever position he was in, they were running another play. So we'll see what Lilly does.
Risher had a question and asked the referee for an explanation, and having been explained to his satisfaction, here we go. 1st and 10. Tight end in motion to the right. Handoff to Hilliard again, and he's dragged down from behind. Look at Wilbur Marshall come in from behind. Number 88, first team All-Southeastern Conference performer last year. Look at Marshall. Now, he was a tight end here in his freshman year. He was converted. He's got 4.6 speed, and he uses it right here to drag down Hilliard from behind. And boy, when you can drag down Hilliard from behind, you can move. Crowd is fired up. 2nd and 10. Hilliard was stopped at the line of scrimmage. And now Risher will call a timeout, saying he cannot hear, and that his receivers, and Richard, again, is an ex-wide receiver yourself. I'm sure that you had played in dens where it was sometimes difficult, if not impossible, to hear the quarterback call the signal, and you are certainly allowed to request time and ask the crowd to quiet down.
Yes, you are. LSU should be experienced with that type of crowd noise. Tiger Den in Baton Rouge has got to be the loudest place in the United States to hear a football game.
All right. Once again, the Tigers come up to the line of scrimmage. Remember, it is 2nd down and 10. Hilton, 61 yards, 11 carries for the afternoon. Here's an end around. And getting out over the 25 to the 30-yard line is Eric Martin. Martin executing the end around. He's over the 30. He will have a first down, but there is a flag on the play. It was dropped in the Tiger backfield, and it's going to be a procedure penalty, I believe, against LSU.
Randy, on that play, it was an end around, like you say. LSU has used that play a couple times earlier in the year for good yardage, and again they did it. All of Florida's defensive line was moving toward their left, and of course that's what you want with an end around, and he picked up some good yardage, but the penalty again is what's stopping LSU. It doesn't look like it's anything but LSU's mistakes that are stopping themselves from scoring even more points.
Holding was the call, a 10-yard mark-off. It'll be 2nd down and 20 at the Tiger 10-yard line. 3 wide receivers, 2 flank to the left. Straight ahead is the fullback, a fumble. And let's see who comes up with the loose pigskin. One of the Gators, Wilbur Marshall, signaling that he thinks one of his teammates has it, but Muntz, who was the ball carrier, managed to collapse on the ball at his own 12-yard line. Timmy Newton in there, making the hit. Gator nose guard, strongest man on that Florida team. He's 6'2", 285, and he lines up right now directly across from LSU center Mike Gambrell. 3rd down and 18. And we've got flags all over the place again, and a busted play. Let's see what the call is. At least 3 yellow handkerchiefs are on the field. It's going to go against LSU, and I believe Gambrell may have been offside. Well, the crowd is certainly attempting to become a 12th man on the field for the Florida Gators.
I think it's very possible. That's why LSU's had this many penalties already starting the second half. The crowd noise is tremendous, and when an offensive lineman cannot hear the quarterback, he's going to oftentimes move a split second quicker than he's supposed to.
LSU has been penalized 6 times now for a total of 44 yards, and it is now 3rd down and 23 from their own 7-yard line. They began this drive at their own 20. Risher on the draw play, and sacked up inside the 10-yard line is Muntz. And the Florida defense is fired up. Well, the Gators are down by 19 as we start the second half, but their offense should get quite a lift from this defensive play by the defensive unit out here. And here's another replay of that last effort by LSU, which came up short. Clay Parker in for his 2nd punt, I believe, of the afternoon. The barefooter. He's a sophomore from Grayson, Louisiana. Ivory Curry, the lone safety, set back for Florida. Curry will watch it bounce at the LSU 43. Takes a Florida bounce and out of bounds at the Bengal Tiger 41-yard line. So Florida begins with good field position, and there's a good indication of how a great defensive stand can give your offense great field position. Florida will take over now at the LSU 41. And Bob Huco, the senior, is starting the second half at quarterback. James Jones and Lorenzo Hampton. So the same running back, the same tandem, lining up in the I formation behind the Gator signal callers. Senior Bob Huco tosses back to Hampton, cuts over the 40, and he stacked up a flag of the play. Al Richardson, their awesome inside linebacker, co-leader in tackles on this team, number 51, and they're on the stop on Lorenzo Hampton, but it's going to be walked off against Florida, it would appear. They're talking it over with James Britt.
It's a holding penalty, Randy, against Florida. You know, some people may be wondering why Peace is not in there and Huco's in there now, the second team quarterback, but really it's not because Florida coaching staff does not have confidence in Wayne Peace. I'm sure it's because they have confidence in Bob Huco. Bob Huco is a very good quarterback. He should be starting, or he would be starting, on many, many major colleges in the nation. And I think they just want to make a change in there, and they have all the confidence in the world in Bob Huco.
He was Southeastern Conference Back of the Week in 1980 and 81 in a couple of games, but he has had both knees operated on and has been injured much of his career. This is Hampton fighting, struggling to get back to the midfield line, and he just barely does before Tim Joyner and Leonard Marshall team up on the double hit for the LSU defense. Stopped right at just shy of the 50-yard line, and that'll bring up a second down and 19 for Florida. John L. Williams now checks into the Gator huddle.
Well, Florida's got good field position. They really need to put some points up on the scoreboard pretty quickly here in the third quarter to get back in the ball game.
Hugo, as you can see, is a lefty, and he tries to put it up for the first time. He's fighting to get back to the line of scrimmage, and he drags Rydell Malenkon with him over the midfield line just into LSU territory. That'll bring up a third down and long for Florida. In fact, they'll have about 17 to go for a first down. Bob Hugo's brothers, Eric and Alex, both played here for the Florida Gators, perhaps when my broadcast partner was a Gator receiver here.
Well, actually, Eric was there about 3 years after I was. I helped coach Florida's team a couple of years, and Eric was one of our receivers.
Hugo, a very solid player when he is healthy. And he is. He's just playing behind an outstanding junior. Now Hugo, receivers are covered, dashing to the left. Gets a pass away, and it is caught on a tip ball, and it's a first down for John L. Williams. A deflected pass bobbled out of the arms of the intended receiver, and John L. Williams turned around and found it in his hands. Jeffrey Dale was the defensive back, the strong safety there to break it up almost and come up with a possible interception, but fortunately John L. Williams found it in his arms for the first down.
Well, Bob Hugo really made that play. It was a busted play. The wide receivers were not open. Hugo moved up in the pocket and then moved over to his left, and he had an open field, and the defenders had to come up to see if Hugo was going to run the ball, and he made the pass, and it was a good play.
I was looking at the run down marker, obviously, and they're still about 9 yards short of the first down, so in the punt is Roger Sybil. Sybil trying to hit the coffin corner, and it's just a little too long. It carries into the end zone. Spencer Jackson chasing it down. But LSU will take over on the touchback at their own 20-yard line. It's easy to look down and sometimes pick out the wrong down marker. I thought he had first down yardage, but in fact he was still 9 yards shy of the first down. 9:51 left to play. I tell you, you look at Dalton Hilliard, and Richard, you can't help but think of a great Auburn star named James Brooks. He reminds you a whole lot of an outstanding tailback at Auburn in James Brooks. First down, LSU at their own 20-yard line. Montz and Hilliard, and decked for a 10-yard loss by Wilbur Marshall. Blitzing in from his outside linebacker spot was Alan Risher.
Well, nobody touched Wilbur Marshall on that play. He just came on in, and he did what he does best, and that is sack the quarterback for a loss. That type of play has got to fire up the Florida's defense. Those are very, very important type of plays to have when you're down 24-5. You need something to keep your spirit going.
Second down, 18 at their own 12-yard line. Hilliard on the toss back from Risher. Cuts back, gets up over the 15, close to the 18-yard line. Fernando Jackson, powerful little linebacker. He's only 5'11", from Blountstown, Florida, coming up to make the stop. Fernando Jackson was the defensive player of the game last year when Florida battled Georgia in their annual rivalry match in Jacksonville. He is an outstanding inside linebacker, senior. It is third down and 12, pickup of 6 on that last play. Same backs, this time a split backfield. Risher puts it up over the middle. It's complete to his tight end, Malcolm Scott. Scott has a first down and more. Forced out of bounds along the far sidelines and around the 35-yard line by Freddie McAllister, with help from the left quarterback, Vito McKeever.
Randy, LSU's used that play earlier in the ball game. It's a delay by the tight end, Malcolm Scott. LSU sent their running backs deep, and the linebackers had to pick them up. Of course, the wide receivers were going deep, and the tight end just kind of delayed across the middle, and there was no one there.
Scott is a dandy, all Southeastern Conference performer. Here's Montz, the fullback, over the 40, out close to the 41-yard line. Good pursuit that time by the left side of the Gator defense, who came up to shut it down after he picked up a couple of yards. Once again, Freddie McAllister and Fernando Jackson in there to knock heads with Michael Montz.
Randy, that was a big play by LSU. Florida had them deep in their own territory again. Florida would have had good field position if LSU had to punt. Now they've picked up the first down. They have some breathing room. I would not be surprised to see them pick up at least a couple more first downs.
From their own 40, it's 2nd and 6. Hilliard is loose around the right end, and he's going to be dragged down after picking up maybe 2 yards. Randy Clark, the strong safety, and Alton Jones, the Gators' right tackle, coming in to cut Hilliard off at the pass that time. What an afternoon he's had. First half, 61 yards on the ground, 80 yards through the air, and 3 touchdowns. That's a pretty awesome afternoon for any running back.
Sure is. That's a good, awesome season for some running backs.
Junius Corral is flanked wide to the left side. Eric Martin to the right. And Risher will put it in the air. Being chased, getting pressure, lobs it down the sidelines, and I think he threw it away. Eric Martin was in the vicinity, along with Tony Lilly, the Gators' outstanding free safety. But that will force LSU into a punting situation. And again, an appreciative crowd here at Gainesville is on its feet, exhorting its defense. Rather, I should say applauding its defense for a fine effort against LSU. Ivory Curry, the deep setback. Curry, an outstanding punt returner. He's been a starter here since 1980. Very wise veteran. One of the top kick return men of the Southeastern Conference in 1981. Signaling for the fair catch. He falls down and holds onto the ball at his own 17-yard line. A fine punt that time for LSU's Clay Parker. Will put Florida in something of a hole back at their own 17. We'll be right back in the third quarter with the score: LSU 24, Florida 5. This time Curry fields it at his 34. Cuts back. There's a flag on the play. We may have a clip. Curry is dropped near the far side of the field out around the 38-yard line by Bill Elko along with Timmy Joyner. But a flag was dropped, and we may have a clip on the run back.
I think that's what they're going to call.
That's it, a personal foul, clipping on the Gator return team. So what would have been pretty good field position around the 40-yard line will now be walked off all the way back to the Florida 25. Well, he's still walking. Well, they spotted at the 21-yard line. Now the Gator backfield, and Florida really trying to ignite something here offensively. John L. Williams, the freshman tailback, and James Jones leading the way, the big, outstanding senior fullback, all Southeastern Conference performer. Greg Bowser checks in at nose guard for the LSU defense. Across from center, Phil Bromley. Yuko drops back with his left arm, fires it out, completed the left side to John L. Williams. Pretty good pickup on the play of about 5 at the 26-yard line. Rydell Malenkon coming up to make the hit on Williams.
Randy, even though it's still the third quarter, time is going to become a factor very quickly for Florida. They've got to put some points up on the scoreboard. They're more than 2 touchdowns down. It's extremely difficult to score 3 touchdowns in 1 quarter, so they need to come on up pretty quickly here and score.
2nd down, 4. Yuko gets decked, and he gets a pass off, but Dwayne Dixon just over his outstretched arms. Did not quite control the ball. Dixon, who is 6'2", has pretty good height, and he used every inch of it to try and get up in the air and pull that one down, but he could not control it. Good defensive coverage down there, incidentally, by Jeff Dale. So Yuko is now faced with a 3rd and 4 situation. The ball remaining at his own 26-yard line. Charlie Pell in his 4th season coaching here at Florida. Overall, his Gator teams are 18, 19, and 1, but you have to weigh that with the fact that the first year they went 0, 10, and 1. Yuko 5 out of 8 through the air, and he'll put it up again. He's under heavy pressure, gets away from it, gets a pass away. It's almost intercepted, and I believe it's, no, they really trapped the ball. They rule a trap on tight end Mike Malarkey. And I tell you what, let's take another look at that one to Malarkey.
He did. That was a close play, but I think it was a good call. Tell you, they're rushing Florida's quarterbacks very good. And it's tough to, you know, they don't have much time at all to throw the ball. And it's very difficult for both Peace and Yuko to come up with a good passing attack.
Ray Quizwell standing back on his 15. Booms one. The deep man is Jeffrey Dale. And this one Dale will allow to roll inside the 5-yard line, and this one's going to carry on into the end zone. So it'll be a touchback, and LSU will have the ball first down at their 20-yard line with 2:18 remaining here in the third period. We'll be right back with the score. The LSU Tigers 24, Florida 5.
Johnson?
Yeah.
Did you see the late edition?
This is Dalton Hilliard on a first down at the 20. Hilliard for 5, maybe 6 yards. Around the right corner, Wilbur Marshall coming over with that fine speed of his to make the stop on Hilliard. Wilbur Marshall, number 88, was Florida's high school player of the year in 1979. Came in here once again, as I said before, as a tight end. They converted him to an outside linebacker last year, and it was simply all Southeastern Conference. He is all awesome. Second down and 4 for the Tigers. Trying to maintain possession and run off some of the clock. At this time, stopped for a very little gain is Dalton Hilliard again. Leon Pennington coming up from his inside linebacker spot to make the hit along with Fernando Jackson.
I think Coach Stovall's Tigers is going to be running the ball probably about every play from here on out. Even though it's 3rd and 2, I would be surprised to see him putting in the air.
They need a couple. Offensive captain and quarterback Alan Risher, man in motion to the right side. Risher gives it once again to Hilliard, and he'll have the first down with ease. Wilbur Marshall coming up to hog-tie Hilliard, but he's already got first down yardage out close to the 33-yard line. With 1:05 left in the third quarter, the Tigers maintain possession and keep the drive alive at their own 34-yard line. Now Wilbur Marshall is coming off the field, and Pat Miller, a freshman, is coming in to give him a blow. High formation. Gary James in the backfield, and the freshman, there's a flag of the play, and James finally gets good yardage. He's wrapped up at the 39-yard line by Lawrence Patrick, but there was a flag tossed on the play at the near side of the field.
Looks like LSU's flanker, number 82, Dural, was offsides. He moved before the snap.
Once again, a penalty will be stepped off against the Bengal Tigers, but penalties have not hurt them in key situations this afternoon as much as they possibly could have. They own a 24-5 lead in the third quarter. We have seen no points put on the board by either team in the second half thus far. Florida's defense has been playing aroused in the second half, and let's see what they can do now. It's 1st and 15 after the penalty. Tailback gets the call. Gary James. James gets a couple of very tough yards. Fernando Jackson draping himself around the young freshman along with Freddie McAllister. And they're going to spot the ball at the 33-yard line. Pickup of about 3 on the play. That'll bring up second down and 12.
Well, LSU hasn't scored the third quarter yet. In fact, they haven't really had a consistent offense going as the end of the third quarter is running down. I think Florida's defense has adjusted somewhat. It looks like the defensive backs are using some zone defenses now, more so than they did in the first half, and it looks like there's a little bit more blitzing going on. But besides that, I think that their intensity is a little bit higher.
There's the horn, the end of the third quarter, and we'll be right back in Gainesville with the score. The LSU Tigers 24, the Florida Gators 5.
I'm very
here in Gainesville with the Gators trailing LSU 24-5 at a second down and 12 for the Tigers at their own 32-yard line. Busting around the left side and knocked down by Val Brown is Gary James. You know, Jerry Stovall inherited a program that was in some disarray when he took over 3 years ago at LSU. Gradually has recruited the athletes that he felt it would take to put the Tigers in the higher echelons of college football, where they've so often been down through the years. Had a couple of outstanding recruiting years, and LSU stumbled last year. They were 3-7-1. But should they win today, they will have started this year's campaign 3-0 and would have upset the number 4 team of the country if this lead holds. Third down and 10. Risher throws it away. Gator fans calling for an intentional grounding penalty on that one, as there was nobody on that side of the field.
Well, there sure wasn't. I don't know why a penalty wasn't called.
Either in an orange jersey or a white jersey. But nonetheless, it's a punting situation, and the Gators will get the ball back with most of the fourth period left to play. Be interesting to see if Coach Charlie Bell will reinsert Wayne Peace at quarterback in the final period. Bob Hugo really was not much more effective at moving the Gators offense than was Wayne Peace in the first half in the third period. Ivory Curry fields the punt at his 21-yard line, cuts to the near side of the field, turns it upfield, and he may have some room down the sidelines. Here's Curry. He gets one good block, cuts back in, and he's down to the LSU 36-yard line. A great block. Sean Moore came up to make the tackle on Ivory Curry, but he got a couple of great blocks downfield. And let's take a look at an outstanding punt return by the outstanding senior Ivory Curry.
Well, Ivory Curry goes around to his left to set up the blocking, and Florida had 2 or 3 excellent blocks, which sets off these punt returns. And Curry's a very good open field runner. He's a big play man for Florida, and we have to look to people like that in order for Florida to get back in the ball game.
At the 30-yard line, first down for Florida. The handoff straight ahead is James Jones. Hugo still operating the offense. And they go to their bread and butter man, James Jones, who blasts ahead for about 5 yards. It'll be second down and 5. Well, they light up quickly. They called 2 plays, obviously. And Hugo rolls to his right, fires a pass out to his tight end, Chris Faulkner. Faulkner cannot hang on to it. Incomplete, and that will stop the clock. Jeffrey Dale, strong safety for LSU over there with good coverage on the big tight end, Faulkner.
You know, sometimes I wonder why teams don't use a 2-minute offense throughout the whole game, or at least through part of the game. You know, it throws a lot of defense, a lot of pressure on the defense when you have a 2-minute offense going, and Florida looks like they may be operating out of a quasi 2-minute offense right now.
They have 3 wide receivers. Hugo sets up, rifles a pass, incomplete, intended for Faulkner over the middle. Tell you what, that's Gary Roll, and Roll felt he might have been interfered with by James Britt, but no flag was dropped. So the Gators are unable to get the 5 yards needed for the first down on a couple of incompletions.
Well, I think we're going to see them going for it. I don't believe they're going to punt or try for a field goal. That was an excellent defensive effort on the part of LSU. Their cornerback was right on the play, and as you can see, it's very close to interference, but I think it's just an excellent defensive play.
All right, 4th and 5. Florida with a key possession play here at the 30 of LSU. Same offensive set. Hugo sets up, wants to pass, pulls it back, rifles one into the end zone, and it's batted down. Intended James Britt with a great touchdown saving deflection intended for Gary Roll in the end zone.
That sure was an excellent defensive effort again. That pass was right on the mark, and if it wasn't for the LSU's cornerback, it could have been a touchdown.
So the Tigers take over at their own 30-yard line, leading 24-5. And once again, LSU has an opportunity to mount a little drive here and run some time off the clock. 13:23 to play. James and Muntz, the setbacks. This is Gary James, the young freshman, gets out to the 33-yard line before Alton Jones. Number 67 comes up. Jones, by the way, has 2 brothers on this team. Offensive tackle Vince and an incoming freshman named Rodney Jones, all out of Tampa Plant High School. But apparently it's going to take more than the Jones boys this afternoon to pull this one out for the Gators. It's going to be 2nd and 6 for the Bengal Tigers. Risher all the way at quarterback. Sets up over the middle. It's intercepted. Picked off by Wilbur Marshall, and Marshall is dragged down from behind by Alan Risher, the man who threw the pass. Well, Wilbur Marshall comes up with his first interception of the season.
Well, that was thrown right into Wilbur Marshall's hands, but it's funny, you know, Wilbur Marshall seems to be right there at the right spot every time, and if it wasn't for Risher's tackle, he could have gone all the way. Wayne
Peace back into the huddle now, guiding the Gator offense. They will have a first down at the 18-yard line of LSU. Boy, Risher would love to have that one back. Wilbur Marshall, a demon on defense for the Gators. Setting up an opportunity here, perhaps. Peace tosses back to Lorenzo Hampton. Almost tripped up behind the line of scrimmage. Reverses field. Tries to get back upfield and make something out of it. And he is slammed down by a horde of gold and white jerseys. Tim Joyner leading the charge, along with Leonard Marshall.
I tell you, Randy, it's somewhat surprising that LSU threw the ball on that last interception. I really think they could run the ball and basically run enough time off the scoreboard to where Florida could not get back into the ball game if they had just picked up a few first downs on the ground. But you know, that's what happens. You put the ball up in the air, it's either a first down or it could be an interception.
John L. Williams in for Lorenzo Hampton. Split backfield with James Jones on the left side. They will set up to block. Pass is complete over the middle to Dwayne Dixon. And it's it's shy of the first down. It's to the LSU 15-yard line. Lawrence Williams and Eugene Daniel coming in, and take a look at Florida's clutch receiver, Dwayne Dixon.
That was just a quick slant pattern, and somebody must be knocking down the defensive tackles for LSU because nobody had their hands up that time.
Chris Faulkner, the big tight end, checks into the huddle. Checking out. We have two tight ends in now, both Malarkey and Faulkner. John L. Williams, the tailback, checks out. Single setback is fullback James Jones. Double tight end formation, 3rd down and 7. Fakes to the fullback. Peace rolling. He's in trouble, and he's going to be dropped for a big loss back at the 23-yard line by Leonard Marshall. LSU's defensive line is fired up. They're coming off the ball, and they're coming after. They're just laying their ears back and firing up.
Well, Leonard Marshall's playing an excellent ball game today. He's a senior, 6'4", 280 pounds, and I tell you, I think Wayne Peace felt him that time.
Well, interesting call here, 4th and 15. It's going to be field goal time. Could be a fake field goal now. Jim Gainey, because the holder, remember, is quarterback Bob Bucco. Gainey lines up. Bucco will spot the ball at the 30. Here's Gainey's attempt from 40 yards out, and it is no good, wide to the right side. So Florida presented with a pretty good opportunity on the interception with a first down at the LSU 18. Comes up empty with 10:29 left to play, and the score remains the LSU Tigers 24, the Florida Gators 5. We'll be right back. Let's pick up the action. First down, Florida at the LSU 48-yard line. James Jones and Lorenzo Hampton behind quarterback Wayne Peace. And the junior hands it off to his fullback, and Jones has got some room. A big hole, and he's down inside the LSU 25-yard line. Lifford Hobley coming up from his free safety spot to stop James Jones. And take a look at this run by Jones. Trying to hit this man in the open field is like trying to bring down a cement mixer.
I tell you, I'd hate to be the defensive back on that play. That was a very good blocking by Florida's offensive line, and Jones just had a big opening.
Hampton in motion to the left. He's looking for Hampton and hits his receiver over Hampton's head, and it's complete at the 19-yard line. James Britt forcing out Mike Malarkey. Number 82, the big tight end. So Florida showing their best offensive drive of the afternoon since the initial possession.
That's right.
They marched downfield and scored on a field goal by Jim Gainey to take a 3-0 lead, and have not sustained a consistent offensive drive since the opening possession. Now, 2nd down and 6 at the LSU 19-yard line. Threatening a blitz. Here they come. Flag on the play. They may be outside. Here's Dixon with the reception. And he is racked from behind. Still turning and twisting and falling down, stretching out to about the 12-yard line. But a flag in the backfield.
Well, we
may have a procedural call coming up against Florida.
I think so, Randy. As you can see, Dixon makes all the yardage that he can on every pass reception. I really admire him as a wide receiver. He's a very good runner. After he catches the ball, he's not real fast, but he's a good open field runner, and he gets all the yardage that he can at every reception.
That's Jeffrey Dale, their outstanding strong safety who is lying on his back and being tended to by the LSU training staff. Jeff Dale took a lick on that last hit. He came up to make the stop, or help make the stop on Dwayne Dixon, and he's being assisted off the field. He's only a sophomore. He's a freshman All-American at LSU last year, and I say it reminds you a whole lot of Tommy Casanova. Just an outstanding roverback, strong safety. So Jeff Dale is being helped off the field, and I'm sure the Florida offensive staff is well aware of the fact that there may be a weakness in that area right now. With Dale out of there, well, we heard a whistle. Florida had come to the line of scrimmage, and now they're going to huddle up again.
Well, they have to wait until Jeff Dale gets off the field, I believe. Randy, you know, it's funny. Florida's in their, I guess it's what they call their 2-minute offense. It's in their hurry-up offense, and they're moving the ball well. I really think that maybe they should have tried that a little bit earlier in the ball game, start of the fourth quarter or so. But a lot of their plays in their 2-minute offense are over the middle of the field and doesn't stop the clock. That has hurt them also.
Peace under a big rush, gets his pass away, and we've got interference downfield as Dwayne Dixon was bumped along the left sideline. Wayne Peace was drilled the moment he let go of the ball, but we're going to have an interference call on Eugene Daniel, who was defending against Dwayne Dixon. Take a look at it.
Yeah, you can see that was a good call. He just got bumped way before the pass got there.
So an automatic first down coming with the pass interference call. It'll be first and 10 at the 13-yard line. It's 24-5, LSU leading in a stunning football game here at Gainesville this afternoon over the 4th-ranked Florida Gators. LSU coming in undefeated but unranked, but averaging 50 points a game. Here's Hampton. Pitch out to the left side, and he's knocked out of bounds after picking up about 3 at the 10 by Rydell Malencon. That'll bring up a second down, and let's call it 8.
Well, those kind of plays are good here late in the ball game when they need to pick up at least some yardage, because he went out of bounds. It stopped the clock. It only ate up a few seconds on the clock, and it opens up the LSU's defense somewhat. Run the ball, someone sweeps and pitch outs.
Peace on a draw play to Jones, and the big guy lumbers ahead to about the 7-yard line, and he is swarmed under at that point by Timmy Joyner. Some help from Bill Elko. So critical call coming up now, 3rd down at about 4. They spot the ball at the LSU 7. Clock down to 6:15. He's quickly into the corner of the end zone, and the pass is tipped, and he cannot control it. Spencer Jackson, the intended receiver. And once again, excellent defensive coverage by the quarterback, James Britt.
It sure was. It was just a perfect position on a play like that. Florida's tried that pass play 3 times today, and all 3 times LSU's been on a perfect position.
Well, the Gators, down by 19 points, have to talk it over now with a 4th down and 4. The last time they were deep in LSU territory, they opted to try the field goal, and it was not successful. So perhaps this time they'll have some different plans. We'll be right back with the score. LSU 24, Florida 5. He lobs it. Dwayne Dixon, and a fine defensive play by the right quarterback, Eugene Daniel, preventing Dixon to make contact. Peace just dropped straight back, looked into the left corner, and lobbed it into Dixon's arms.
Yeah, that's exactly the same play, only to the opposite side. The pass really was there. Dixon could have caught it. It was good positioning on LSU's part, but just to no avail today.
That's some numbers on Wayne Peace. He is 12 of 22, 106 yards, and 2 interceptions. But now we take a look again at number 7, the Slidell Slinger, Alan Risher. Hands off to Dalton Hilliard. Hilliard picks up a couple on that carry. He now has 19 carries for the afternoon, 87 yards on the day, and 3 touchdowns, 1 on the ground and 2 through the air. And he is only a freshman. 2nd down and 9. Hilliard picks up 1. Ball resting on the Bengals' 11-yard line. Crowd has grown silent again here in Gainesville. Man in motion is Junius Doral. Hilliard again getting the call, and he's stacked up again around the 11-yard line. Good pursuit that time by the left side of the Gator defense, led by Tommy Wigman, number 95, their inside linebacker. 5 minutes and 10 seconds before a perfect start by the Florida Gators is going to be ruined this afternoon by an inspired, fired up LSU Bengal Tiger team. They came in here thinking very positively. Well, you know, they only lost 2 starters from last year's team. So, except for the freshman tailbacks, there's a lot of experience on this team. And here's one of those freshmen right now, Hilliard, again, cracking right up through the middle, getting out to around the 15-yard line. Jackson and Tony Lilly in on the stop. Well, you talk about a performer defensively. He's going to be shy of the first down, and that'll bring on the punting team, and Florida will get another crack at it. If Wilbur Marshall is the heart and soul of this Gator defense, Tony Lilly is certainly the backbone. Outstanding free safety. Charlie Pell says he has never coached a finer free safety in all of his years of coaching collegiate football. That's quite a compliment. Ivory Curry drops back deep to field the punt of Clay Parker. Time really an eye line now. Parker barefoots it to Curry, backpedaling to his 34-yard line. He cuts upfield, out to the 40. Gets one good block and gets out close to midfield. Another fine return by Ivory Curry.
Tell you, Randy, even though there's only 4 minutes left in the game, I don't think Coach Pell thinks that they're completely out of the ball game yet. I know he has probably seen stranger happenings, and he knows that there is a chance that Florida can still pull this game out. I think you would have to be an eternal optimist to think that. But still, I think Coach Pell feels they're still in the ball game. They still have a chance to win it.
Florida. 3 wide receivers. Handoff instead to Jones. Jones does not quite get out of bounds. That won't even stop the clock. But he does get down to the LSU 47-yard line. Eric Kittock, sophomore from River Ridge, Louisiana, in to make the hit on James Jones.
Well, if
Mike Malarkey comes back into the huddle.
If you're going to run that kind of play, and I don't really understand why he ran it, you got to go out of bounds to stop the clock. That ate up about 20 seconds.
Absolutely. Pass is complete to Spencer Jackson at the LSU 35-yard line. But once again, the clock will continue to roll. Wayne Peace on target to Spencer Jackson, who was their leading receiver last year. In fact, he tied for the Southeastern Conference lead in touchdown receptions a year ago, number 89. Now Jackson lines up wide to the left side. Peace looks to the left. Pass is complete once again to Mike Malarkey. And Malarkey gets out of bounds at around the LSU 27-yard line. Forced out by James Britt. That will stop the clock. Jeff Dale with the force out. The orange and blue has grown very quiet here. Start of the second half, the noise here at Florida Field was almost deafening. And frankly, the Gators have just not been able to capitalize on several opportunities. Interceptions, fumble recoveries deep in LSU territory. Peace with the pass complete to Dwayne Dixon. Still on his feet. And he falls ahead to about the 21-yard line. Rydell Malencon, number 99, coming up to make the stop. Fine recovery by their clutch receiver, Dwayne Dixon.
Well, Randy, all LSU's trying to do is keep Florida inside the boundaries. They'll let them have these passes. That's going to eat up a lot of time off the clock.
And only 3 minutes remain. Dropping back, Peace looks across the middle. Dixon again at the 15-yard line to another 5-yard pickup. Once again, Malencon getting acquainted with Dixon out there in the middle of the field.
I know I mentioned this before, but in this hurry-up offense, Florida's got a lot of plays that are passes over the middle. And it's going to eat up a lot of time, even if they make the completion. LSU's going to let them catch those passes.
2nd down and 4. Peace to Lorenzo Hampton. He will be stopped shy of the first down and pushed back to the 15-yard line. They needed to get to the 11 for the first down. Wayne Peace now 17 of 28 for 103 yards in the air. But we're down to 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Hurry up offense. 3 wide receivers. Lorenzo Hampton will aim for the sidelines, finds some daylight, and runs ahead to the 5-yard line. And did he get out of bounds at the far side of the field to stop the clock? I don't believe so. Yes, it is stopped with 2 minutes and 2 seconds remaining. So Hampton started to check out at about the 10 and saw a little daylight and picked up another 5 yards. Pretty good bit of running by the young sophomore that time. Hawks starts again. Hampton in motion to the left. Peace looks into the left corner, over the middle, touchdown. Mike Malarkey, the tight end, receiving the touchdown from quarterback Wayne Peace. And Florida gets 6 back.
Well, this was a good play by Wayne Peace, a good pass. Malarkey was just open right over the middle. He had to be covered by number 29, Hobley, the free safety of LSU, and Hobley let Malarkey get behind him. It may be a little too late for Florida, though.
And to try and tack on the extra points. Well, it looks like Florida's going to go for 2. It's 24-11. And Peace will guide the offense in the try for the 2-point conversion. Lorenzo Hampton in motion to the left side. Peace will put it in the air to the corner. The pass is caught, and it's good. 2-point conversion. Mike Malarkey again, almost fittingly, is the man whose number is called to tack on the 2 points, and it's 24-13 LSU.
Well, that was just a slant pattern to the outside by Malarkey, and Malarkey's strength is what got him the 2 points on this. He had 3 LSU defenders on him, but he carried them all across.
We'll be right back.
In 1950.
Center Mike Gambrell. Risher tosses back to Hilliard. And he's across to the 42-yard line. Fred McAllister in on the stop. He is going to be close to a first. It is a first down. And Hilliard, that young man, has just gone over the 100-yard mark this afternoon. 3 touchdowns, 101 yards on the ground, and we're going to add him up on how many he's gained through the year. But tremendous afternoon for Dalton Hilliard, number 21, and he's just a freshman. Been a one-man demolition crew here this afternoon for the LSU Tigers. But he isn't just picking on Florida. He's done it against 2 other teams this year as well. Man in motion is Malcolm Scott to the left side. Risher with a handoff again to Hilliard. He's going for more yardage. He's got a hole, and he breaks a tackle. There's a flag on the play. He is tripped up. Gets down to the 22. Val Brown reaching out to stop Hilliard, who almost broke it for his 4th touchdown of the afternoon.
I tell you, he's got tremendous balance besides speed. All day long, Florida's missed tackles on him. And you wonder if it's just poor tackling on Florida's part or great balance on the part of Hilliard. And I'm beginning to think it's good balance on the part of Hilliard.
Well, Florida's chances, slim as they were, may have gone to none. Slim just left town, as the old saying goes, because it looks like a face mask violation has been called against the Gators. And LSU is going to take advantage of a first down at the Florida 17-yard line. 52 seconds remaining. And the marvelous start of the Florida Gators this season will have a blemish on it after this afternoon. Risher with a handoff again to Hilliard. Gets short yardage up over the 15-yard line, close to the 14, before he is met by Wilbur Marshall. You know, LSU only needs, if they win today, they only need 1 more victory to become one of very few schools in the nation to have 500 college football victories. Only 20 schools have won as many as 500 games down through the years. Of course, they've been playing this game since 1893, back when they didn't even have leather helmets, or any helmets, I imagine.
Randy, even though this is going to hurt Florida, of course, in their national rankings, it's a tremendous blow to their SEC aspirations. They've never won an SEC title in their history. This is an SEC game, and you know, it's tremendously damaging to Florida's chances.
Well, there's the whistle and the final buzzer. Charlie Pell and Jerry Stovall exchange handshakes. Charlie Pell leading his Gators into the tunnel, shaking hands with a few of the Bengal Tigers. And Florida just did not have it this afternoon. And I'll tell you what, Richard, LSU, I believe, is going to be a team to be reckoned with this year. Not only the SEC, but when you get down to that top 10 at the end of the season, you certainly can't count these guys out after what we've seen today.
No, you can't, Randy. I think they came of age today. They played a quality ball club at the University of Florida and came out on top and thoroughly whipped them the whole game.
Well, that's the end of the game here in Gainesville. We'll be back with our summation in just a moment. The final score, the LSU Tigers 24, the Florida Gators 13.
My American friends.
Pinches gringos. All those millions. I had them. And now they've got them. They don't even need them. They've got everything. They've got houses, cars, airplanes, and women. Beautiful, blonde women. No sea malo, papacito, hombre. Tenos un cachito. You know what bothers me the most? I'm a general. They're not even professionals.
Fear is the key to survival in this futuristic trip through terror.
There is an explanation for this, you know.
Earthbound travelers take on an unwelcome passenger.
This son of a bitch is huge.
Now their ship has become its hunted ground.
You have my sympathies.
And they have become its prey.
Move! Get out of there!
To live, they must find and destroy this demon of destruction.
What? And end up like the others?
Death may be the only escape from the alien.
Coming up next on Spotlight. Spotlight now presents Tomorrow's Movie Makers, a selection of award-winning student films by some of today's top young filmmakers.
1950.
Center Mike Gambrell. Risher tosses. Game since 1893. Today, they only need one more victory to become one of very few schools in the nation to have 500 college football victories. Only 20. Well, there's the whistle and the final buzzer. Charlie Pell and Jerry Stovall exchange handshakes. Charlie